100 FM The Pike, Worcester's rock station, Smashing Pumpkins here. And Drown, the Smashing Pumpkins tribute, will be playing show 2 of what I like to call the Trifesta. Collect them all. We had a Rock Fest a little while back. Now this Saturday, it is Grunge Fest at Indian Ranch in Webster. And the gentleman who helps us organize all of those fests, Frank Pupillo. You may know him as Fret Michaels from the world's greatest Poison tribute band, Shot of Poison. Frank, thank you very much for coming in.
Hey, thanks for having me as always, Mike.
Appreciate that. I don't know, just a real quick question about Shot of Poison. I mean, you guys really are one of the greatest, probably the best Poison tribute band out there. So much so that Bret Michaels invited you to play with him. Oh, yeah. What was the show you were on? The Battle of the Tribute Band show?
Yeah, Clash of the Cover Bands we were on. Yeah. That was produced by Jimmy Fallon. And, Bret gave us a shout out and wished us luck and stuff. And that's kind of how we became endorsed by him. And, you know, since then, he's had us on stage with him a few times and stuff. Yeah, great guy.
I mean, that's really the pinnacle for a tribute band when the guys in the band are like, these are the guys. So I'm gonna ask you this. I just read recently, poor Bret Michaels had to deal with a kidney stone, and he was performing while he was dealing with that. Now, we talk about tough guy like hockey players going out there with broken ribs and stuff. Luckily, I've never experienced that, but I have friends who have, and that's just like total pain. It's crazy how he can get out there and do a show with a smile on his face and deal with that. So my question to you is, you guys are a tribute band. You get the look down and everything. Are you going to insert a kidney stone into your urethra while you're playing just to get the full-on, realistic tribute experience?
Full-on effect, yeah. No.
Oh, okay.
I am
Well, you're a poser.
I'm a poser. And I'm going to continue to pose. I don't want to deal with that pain. I've heard about kidney stones, and knock on wood, we were talking just a moment ago. I'm very lucky, but that, saying that, Bret Michaels is, he plows through a lot of things to get up on stage and perform for the people.
The guy almost died.
He almost died. Yeah. I was backstage recently when we were on, when we were on the stage with him at the Hampton Beach Casino Ballroom in New Hampshire, and he had some issues that night, and he will not quit or cancel a show unless it's real bad. I mean, he's plowed through a lot of things to go up and perform for the people. He's amazing.
Right.
He really is.
That's old school. The show must go on.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about Grunge Fest.
Sure.
Last year was a ton of fun, and I'm really interested about this year's lineup because there's 2 bands I haven't seen, and one is Drown. We just mentioned them, the Smashing Pumpkins tribute. And where did you find those guys?
Those guys are great. They came up and opened for Schism one year, like they played at my club, and we'll talk about them in a moment. But Schism played at Rascals. And they're a great band, but they bring their own openers, and he brought Drown up with him.
Oh, wow.
And I said, wow, these guys are great. And I loved them, and they've been talking to me about coming back up. They have played at Rascals since, and I figured they'd be a great fit for Grunge Fest this year.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then you've got Loungefly, the Stone Temple Pilots tribute. I've never seen a Stone Temple Pilots tribute band, so I'm very interested to see what that's like.
Yeah, they look really, really good. We had a bunch of STP tribute bands reach out, and it was tough to kind of vet them and go through them and try and hopefully we picked my friend Dimitri, who's actually the lead singer in
Rotten Apple.
In Rotten Apple, the Alice in Chains tribute.
Yeah.
He's helped me put these together too, and him and I work together closely to get all these bands together to make it the best show possible for the people. Right? That's the goal.
Yeah.
That's the goal as a promoter and an entertainer. You want the best show for people to enjoy. So, yeah.
And you got to watch video, obviously, to see how they play.
Yeah.
If they're good musicians.
Yes.
But sometimes you don't really, like Rotten Apple isn't exactly, like Shot of Poison, you guys dress the part, you put on the big show and everything. Like you mentioned Rotten Apple, they don't really try to look like them. Is that a factor, or is it just comes down to these guys sound like?
Yeah, it's tough.
AIC.
There's it depends on which direction you go. Like when we do the Hair Fest every year,
right?
Most of the bands that are in Hair Fest dress the part, look the part,
like the
sound
Priest.
the part. Like,
oh my God, the singer for the Priest is I mean, he's Rob Halford, man. All the
Ron
way.
Finn, he's great. Yeah, he's awesome. But but with the grunge, it's funny. I don't know if there's any grunge bands that I've seen that try to look the part of the grunge band from that era.
Right.
It's
because that was the era where they eschewed all that stuff, and they kind of walked on stage with what they were wearing all day.
Ripped T-shirts and flannel shirts, shredding at the bottoms and stuff.
Doc Martens, the whole deal. So, interested to see Loungefly. And then we mentioned Rotten Apple, who played last year. right?
Yes, they're the only repeat this year. So, yeah.
Yeah, and they are phenomenal. Dimitri has nails Lane Staley.
Yep.
And really, so many times it comes down to, like, can the singer do it? Because that like, who was the Pat Benatar tribute you had a couple of years ago?
Best shot.
Oh, my God. I was like, it all hinges on her.
Yeah, she's
If
great.
she doesn't sound like Pat Benatar, then she could be a man. You know, if she doesn't sound like Pat Benatar, it's and she nailed it. So it's so very important, and he is excellent.
He is excellent, and that's the biggest thing I think that. Well, you know, when I select the bands for all the festivals, you know, I look for that sound so that people are getting that same kind of sound. The lead singer is very important, like you said. You know,
right?
So,
and speaking of, tough shoes to fill as a tribute band, a lead singer in a tribute band, Schism. Maynard James Keenan. You know, it's tough to fill those shoes. And he's not filling them, but he's definitely nailing it. And I know Schism has been around for like 20 years.
At least 25 years plus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, plus at this point. They're amazing. They've played at Rascals a couple times and absolutely blew me away. And I got to just admit, I was never a huge, I love prog rock, and they fall into a weird category, right? Like a lot of people can argue they're progressive rock or, like Dream Theater or whatever. But they're from that 90s era, so they fall into grunge. So anytime they play with, grunge bands. That's who opens for them. Like I said, that's
Tool
what they do.
came out. Anybody who's watched, like me, I discovered Tool through MTV.
Right.
So anybody in the early 90s, knew all those bands started coming out at that time. It was Tool and Nirvana and Soundgarden. Sure, you can say this band is not grunge and this band is. As they say here in Massholia, irregardless. These guys are amazing. These guys are amazing live. They're really amazing. Do great. They do Tool justice.
They absolutely do it. And I'll tell you, a big part of what Tool does, and their drummer, Don, is unbelievable.
Yeah.
So,
again, tough
insane.
to Danny Carey. You got to play like him. That's tough.
Unbelievable. This guy will blow you away. Do not miss this year's Grunge Fest because I tell you, to see Schism at the end to kind of close out the show with the stuff that they're going to put together and their amazing talent, they are unbelievable.
Yeah, they're great. Yeah.
Great band.
That's this Saturday at the home of Grunge Fest and the Trifesta, as I like to call it, Indian Ranch in Webster. Another great show by the lake. IndianRanch.com for tickets. The usual thing, gates open at 11, right?
Yeah, gates are at 11. Music starts pretty much right at 12, and 4 amazing bands this year.
Yeah. And don't hesitate to, tailgate before the show and get good and lubed, as Tom Brady says, and get grungy.
Yeah, and make sure you come around, and if you see me running around like you always do, please say hi.
You can't miss Frank. Seriously, you can't miss Frank. All right? It's like...
It's fun.
Yeah, it is. The fests are a lot of fun, man. It's just a big party, and I love when people get so into it that they dress up and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's fun. It's crazy. So this is only the second year of Grunge Fest, too, so it's kind of been... I say a learning curve. Obviously, I've been putting on a lot of festivals for years, but this was kind of like a little bit of a learning curve. This year versus last year. Last year we went with the big 4 right off the bat, and then this year you got to change it up a little bit.
Right?
And I said, this is a great lineup. I can't wait for this year. This is going to be awesome.
Yeah, that's good. That's this Saturday, Indian Ranch. Go to IndianRanch.com to get your tickets. Frank Pupillo. Oh, and head over to Rascals for the after party.
Yeah.
Afterwards.
So after party, real quick, it's going to be 3 bands. Well, we got Ruckus is playing, which is a band from back in the day. The lead guy in Ruckus is Adam Sidman, who was one of Brett Michaels' best friends. So every time we're backstage,
so there's that
Adam's
Poison
there
connection
too.
There.
Yeah,
Okay.
they were in a band together before Poison was together.
Nice.
So he's at the club. The Ben Cody band. Ben's been doing amazing in the area. Local amazing guitar player. And Pink, my buddy Pink, is opening solo acoustic. So 3 acts going on right after Grunge Fest on Saturday. Doors open earlier at 6, and music will start at 7. So right after Grunge Fest, head on over to Rascals.
Yeah, keep the party going there.
Yeah.
All right. Frank, thanks for coming in this morning.
Thank you, Mike, as always.
Appreciate it. We'll see you on Saturday.